think you're spot on about how the cloud has empowered people across the world to be able to not only communicate, but to share their knowledge, to advocate for what they believe in, to essentially, it's not limited to technology people. It's limited to anyone who has a voice, anyone who wants to share knowledge and do so in a very cost-effective way. Look at us today. From our homes, we're able to communicate, we're able to share knowledge, and we're able to express ourselves.
Yes, I agree with both of your points. I think that you touched on some cybersecurity, Shilpa, which are definitely in-demand jobs right now. I can tell you from our organization, being an executive search firm, we've just hired the advisors to the CISO and cybersecurity architects and cybersecurity analysts. So that is spot on. Those are totally in demand. And we definitely are in need of diverse professionals in those fields. So my next question to you, and I'll paraphrase from the HR magazine, which says that upskilling is the equalizer. So what do you think are the essential criteria to obtain $100,000 jobs or more?
Sure. I'll start with my thoughts on that. Anytime you're trying to find a new job, I always say it, what do you want out of it? What is your passion? Because a job is a job if you don't, have fun doing it. So first and foremost, you have to find what your current skill sets are, what your passion is. Is that something that will keep you motivated every day? So first and foremost, find that piece out of this whole plethora of jobs that are available in the cloud space, right? In the cloud computing space. So for me, that is first and foremost. And then you start, looking at where you stand, what your skills are, what kind of jobs you're looking for. Are you ready for them? Do you need to prepare for them? So there is a lot of things that you need to assess when you're, putting together what the criteria is. So I would say start with your interest and then go from there.
Very good.
Yeah, I echo Shilpa's sentiments there. Start with your passion, follow your passion, and associate with a community or a cloud community that you can learn from and can learn from you, and focus on what you enjoy most, and money will come. Whether it's 100,000 or a million, money is of course important, but it's not the first driver. It should be what you enjoy the most, and money will come when you do what you enjoy most.
Okay, so I'm gathering interest and passion, follow that, and you'll find your way into transitioning into career advancement. Would you agree?
That's the first step.
Okay. So can you speak to executive presence and skills and certifications that may be required for these professionals to obtain these roles?
I think that is important. And why I say that is the technology is changing by the minute. Things are transforming, and to be able to keep up, I think certifications is a good path. And if you can associate with someone like the big cloud players, they have their own certifications, which I think is a good first step. Align with which one do you want to go for, I think is a good first step. And good thing about that is these are kind of tailored around the jobs they are looking for. So they are training you, they're certifying you for what they want. So which I think is important. But just beyond the cloud piece, I think there are other pieces, like we talked about security, we talked about databases. There are additional peripheral items that you can get certified on, which gives you a little bit of a broader, wider view of what is needed within this space. So there are a lot of options, like, I don't know, AWS, Google, Microsoft, they all do their own certifications. You mentioned a few, right? For cybersecurity, you have a bunch of them. I think that those are really good starting points depending on the field you want to be in.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
For my experience, and I think communication skills are extremely important. The ability to communicate your knowledge in a very concise way, the ability to express your ideas So you could be, a doctor of all doctors in a specific discipline, but if you can't communicate it, I mean, there's a certain value. Whereas you could be someone who's less of certified, but as long as you could communicate your knowledge and be able to empower others with your knowledge and to be able to train, educate, and share your ideas, I think that's really powerful, no matter what discipline, whether it be cybersecurity, be it whatever platform. I think that's one thing that I would suggest to everyone to focus on is your ability to communicate. You invest in that, then you go after whatever platform you want to learn, whether it's AWS, Azure, this or that, it doesn't matter. Focus on communication skills.
That is a very, very key skill set, John, and most of the folks struggle with it. I think verbal, written communication, be able to present, I think is key. I think you brought out a really good skill set.
Yeah. And also be yourself. Be confident, be comfortable in your own skin, and be yourself. And people will accept you for who you are, as long as you're able to communicate your ideas.
Correct.
And if you don't, well, you're in the wrong place.
Right.
You're in the
And
wrong
something that I see with technical folks is, and which I think is something that everybody should be working on, is understand your audience when you're communicating. Sometimes everybody in your audience is not a technical expert. So how do you take all of your technical knowledge and experience and make it very simple for folks to understand? Because cloud computing and all the algorithms and technical stuff can get very, very complicated very fast. So that's why I think communication becomes even more important, is how you're able to get that information across in a very simple manner.
I love that. Communication is so important in all areas, in all industries, right? Presenting yourself and your skill sets. So there are a number of organizations, I know Women in Cloud being one of them, where you can upskill, you can get certifications in technology through them. There's Directions Training. There are a number of different organizations that you can get involved with if you're seeking to find out how to better your communication skills. I know that Kiana is in the audience, and she mentioned Toastmasters, which is a great place to learn how to speak better. So there are so many resources available. So I know that there are a number of women in the audience today who are not technical women. And I'll tell you a personal story. I actually invited one of my clients who's a director of marketing at an architectural firm. And she was like, she felt a bit uncomfortable because she didn't speak tech. And so I tried to reassure her, like I do with most women that feel that way, is that, we don't all speak tech, and that tech does also have non-technical positions, right? So at Microsoft, we've hired, business managers in the worldwide compensation team. And we just want you to know that tech companies still need accountants. They still need marketing directors. They still need project managers. So don't count yourself out. There is space for you, okay? And so Shilpa and John, I'd like to ask you, what do you think are the types of roles that are available for non-technical professionals, specifically at your organizations, and what you're seeing out there in the field?
I think you were right. I mean, we need everybody else to support the tech folks, right? You need that support structure in place. You need PMs, you need business managers. Somebody has to go sell this stuff too, right? So you need sales and marketing people. So you just need to understand high level for you be able to go and sell it, I guess, right? You don't have to know all the lingo of technical depth, etc. So yes, there are a lot of opportunities out there, right? Finance, accounting, PM jobs, and of course, sales, marketing, retail. Somebody who is to put together your business development plans, the strategy of where we are going, investments that we need to do, manage capacity. I mean, there is tons and tons of opportunity. Go find where you fit in, and you'll find something there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think technology, one of the beauty of technology is it solves problems, be it business problems, technical problems. And if you are a non-technical person, but understand a specific problem in a specific area, a specific discipline, and you bring that to a technology company, your combined efforts of understanding that specific business and the problems that lie within that business, coupled with technology's individuals and your ability to communicate as a team is very powerful. So the ability to help and contribute of understanding what problems exist in a specific area and being able to work with technologists or technology people to solve them.
Yes, yes, definitely spot on. So be reassured that there is space for you. Like Shilpa said, find your space. There is fit for you. You don't necessarily have to upskill. You can do what you've been doing and join a tech organization. But of course, we need more women. We need more diverse thought and technology. So that's the push for today. Go to the cloud. So John and Shilpa, what do you think are some best practices for folks to align themselves so that they can take advantage of these opportunities? And, shameless plug, of course, aligning with a technical recruiter would be to your advantage as well. So let's hear your thoughts on that, John.
I think first and foremost, look at what you enjoy doing. I think we talked about that early on. And what is it that you feel that you're very good at? And then explore that further in terms of how can you contribute to a technology company in what you are, and what else can you do to improve your skills in a discipline, in an area that you enjoy? And who do you want to associate with? What kind of company, what kind of culture would you be most comfortable with? Because you need to be comfortable in that company culture. You need to be wanting to learn and others learn from you. So you need to look at this from a standpoint of where will you be happy, and you look at the elements of what makes you happy as an individual. It's with the company culture. What kind of training programs do they have? Will they enable me to learn more than, in my area of expertise or in a different area of expertise? In the meantime, can I contribute to that company in given my current skills? And so fundamentally, those are some of the things that you want to think about, in my opinion.
I think from my perspective, I think those are absolute requirements from as far as best practices is concerned. I'll kind of pose it in two sections. If you're a technical individual, right, as a best practice, you have to keep an eye where technology is heading. So just to stay in the know-how of where are we going to go next? What is the next step in this evolution of technology, and how are you keeping up with it? We talked about a lot of opportunities, right? Women in cloud. How are you learning new things? That definitely is important for you to make it part of your day-to-day growth. At the same time, what do you need to do? Do you need to go get more certifications? What is out there in the competitive space? Now, that is if you are a technical individual already in there. But if you're a non-technical individual, like we talked about, right, where do you want to be part of this? If it's something new that do you want to learn a new language? Do you want to learn something database aspects of it, or you want to be doing it in a non-technical space? So best practices is understanding where you want to be, and then you are continuously growing yourself. And you pointed another good one, Lauren, where you said, hey, need to know what the recruiters are looking for. If you don't know what to put in as part of your best practices, right? So continue to evolve, continue to learn new skills, stay in the know-how, and that should be how you operate.
Yes, I definitely agree. So, when it comes to women in cloud, there's an opportunity here to be introduced to some of the speakers. And so I would add to what both John and Shilpa said, which is to find a mentor, right? Find an advocate, and that will likely be the key differentiator between you knowing and becoming what it is that you're looking to know or become in technology. So mentoring and advocates are definitely going to make a world of a difference for you. Okay, so I have a funny joke, Shilpa. John, you ready for this?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a tech joke, and we'll see if you get it. And if anyone has any guesses, they can put it in the chat. So for the technical people out there, what is a programmer's favorite glassware, eyewear?
Goggle, Google, I don't know.
Oh my God, you got it. Did you know that joke already, Shilpa?
No. I started with Java, coffee, and then I'm like, okay, who else is out there? Apple? No.
Yes,
I
it's
must admit,
It's going through my mind.
yes, corny joke drum roll. That was great. You're great. So when it comes to research, I think that makes a world of difference, right? Especially when you're preparing for these top 10 in demand cloud jobs. In my opinion, I think research is the difference between mediocrity and excellence, right? And so doing your research can take you much further than you think, especially when you're getting into something new. So tell me, John, Shilpa, how should they prepare for these new jobs or career advancement or perhaps transitions?
Education is key. So being able to have access to education, and nowadays with the cloud, you can get online training. There's so much material out there. I would stress education and coupled with communication. Those are the two areas that you probably want to focus on.
Yeah, when you prepare, once you know what field you want to be in, then see what the companies are looking for in that particular role, and then how much of that skill set do you think you match up with, right? And then how are you, like you said, education is important. If there are gaps, certifications, etc., go pursue that so that you're ready to say, yep, either I'm already doing it or I have some experience around it. That's how you prepare. You have to keep up. What everything is going to be changing. What you did today maybe is not relevant in like 2 years. So you got to keep up with what's the demand out there. What are they looking for? And yes, it is important that we educate ourselves around that.
And then I completely agree. But once you're continuing to educate yourself, don't be afraid to think differently. Don't be afraid to be creative. I think what industry and the way to solve problems is not just to follow a regimented process or methodology where education or courses teach you the fundamentals or they teach you certain things, but you need to inject your creativity, your thought leadership into what you've learned and contribute that. I think that's so important to be able to take it a step above than just education. You need to look at ways that what you learn has an element of you. It has an element of your DNA, and what your DNA is what you've learned elsewhere through life experiences, through other courses, or what have you. And there's an element of differentiation, and be creative. I think that's so important.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, excellent point. Speaking of creativity, Patty blows my mind, right? Like she's so creative and vibrant, and when she does her drawings, and so I think that is a key differentiator as well, John, for folks that are preparing. We definitely still want to hold true to some of the traditional HR concepts, right? When it comes to career mapping, and so one tip that I would provide, if you have ambitions to be a leader of your organization like Shilpa or John, perhaps it's important to review their LinkedIn profiles. What kinds of experiences have they had, right? Where you can perform a gap analysis. Where are you now? And what is it going to take for you to get to the next level? Maybe they started as, a tech desk support or something, right? And maybe the next tier to that was a manager and then became a director. I would love for you to tell us each about your career and how you mapped out to be where you are now, Shilpa and John.
Sure. I started out as a software engineer back in India, came here, moved into a telecom field. and started out as an RF engineer. I used to do, so the cell towers that you see, my first job in US was going and mapping a new market where there was no cell coverage for this particular carrier, and determining where sites need to be planned. I would drive all day, find areas, find land, owners, and say, "Hey, can we put a tower in your backyard?" So that's how I started. So I've been in the telecom field. I've been with T-Mobile for 17 years, and I've just done a lot of different things here. I've done RF, I've done performance analytics, a lot of different roles. That's how you learn. You take a look at different parts of the business, and that's how you get a more holistic view as to how the business and the technology operates. So my feedback would be, sometimes it's good to grow vertically and increase your technical depth, but also have an open mind to go try something new, even within your org, if possible. If you get that opportunity, that way you know how the whole thing comes together.
For my case, I've always been one that likes to solve problems, likes business, likes innovation, likes creativity. So I take these likes, bundle them together, and I look for people who also enjoy solving problems and being creative. And I'm blessed to be part of a team that are very innovative, very creative, and are leaders across the globe who have helped solve many problems for very large organizations because of their creativity, because of their ability to innovate. And I'm proud to say that there's women in technology in our team, and we'd like to see more of them. They're very creative. They're very good problem solvers. And so, yeah, that's how I started, and we continue to grow that way.
Love it. Yeah, so I'm gathering cross-training from you, Shilpa, which would be a great asset for anyone inside their organization to learn new skills, to ask questions in different verticals. And I love what you said as well, John. It's about teamwork. It's about empowering those people on your team, developing them, right? So that they do become leaders, and also role modeling like you all are in your organizations. I'm sure that there are folks on your team that are inspired by what you've done in your careers and how you've mapped it out and strategically been able to get where you are. So kudos to both of you on that. So what do you think about where we are currently in society as far as diversity, equity, and inclusion is concerned? I know John mentioned women being problem solvers, which I agree. Okay, love hiring women. We get things done. But how do you feel about DEI in the cloud computing space? There's such a need.
So if I could chime in here, it's 2022, right? I can't believe that even in 2022, we need to make this gender differentiation. To me, it's like, it's not what gender you are, it's what's in here and what's in here. And that's what's important at the end of the day, regardless of gender. But there still is this gender thing, and we're still talking about diversity, and we're still talking about this and that. I think that we need to be a little more creative, a little more innovative, a little more open, a little in our ability to bring teams together and look at people past their gender, past whatever, and look at them for who they are at the core, and what do they contribute, and how do we make strong teams? And I think that's what our culture is here at Softel. We're strong advocates of that. And but I'm surprised that even today we're still having a discussion about women in this, women in that. It's people. It doesn't matter the gender. So honestly, this is how I feel. And but I do recognize the importance to advocate for a specific gender or a specific group, because if we don't, then we're not able to say that we haven't progressed, we haven't evolved. But that's my earnest opinion.
Thank you, John.
I know you guys brought up some good points. Definitely women are problem solvers. I'll add some more to that. We are multitaskers, right? We are organized and disciplined, And there's still a lot to do. As you said, John, we are in 2022 and we are still talking about it. That means we need to go do something about it. And I think there is a lot of drive, but there needs to be a little bit more action. And within T-Mobile, right, we are driving on this. This is something that we stand for. This is our culture. There's a lot of focus around it. This just needs to be part of our DNA every day. We shouldn't be talking about this, and this has to be done. We need to get there. We just need to get the word out. We just need to push, promote, recognize. Lot more to be done.
You're so right, Shilpa. And I feel privileged to participate in my little way here in this little discussion, to come in and to speak my mind. But I also, the work that Chetra is doing, that Lauren, that you're doing, Shilpa, that you all are doing in Women in Cloud is amazing, and I commend you for continue to do that. I can say that from the other gender, from that. So keep up the good work. That is amazing, guys.
Thank you, John. Yeah, your opinion is very important, and we certainly value it, right? Here at Women in Cloud today, the male perspective is important, right? We need advocates, like I mentioned before, advocates for gender diversity, advocates for diversity and accessibility. I was in a Microsoft training today for disabled, professionals, all of these different types of ethnic diversity, right? There's so many types of segments that really need to be focused on that have been underrepresented. And so I'm so glad that you all have very inclusive thoughts and diverse thoughts on this matter. Let's open the chat up for a few questions. We've got a little bit of time. We can take a few questions if anyone has anything to say.
So, Lauren, I also say that I'm a father of a daughter, and that daughter one day will be, you want to be part of a team, part of a family that enables and creates leaders, right? And so you need to work in an environment that enables you to let you spread your wings and grow, and not somebody that clips them. And that's so important. But forgive me for interrupting you, Lauren. You had a question.
No, that was valuable. Let the eagles fly, right? Don't clip their wings. Yes. Let the eagles fly. We've got butterflies all around here, so we're all about.
We gotta get past what you can and cannot do. It needs to be intentional. You can do whatever you set your mind to, and that's how the society needs to operate. It needs to be our culture at the end of the day.
I certainly agree with you both and appreciate your thoughts. So do we have any questions in the audience? Anyone have anything to add to ask Shilpa about, cloud computing jobs at T-Mobile? What kind of open positions do you have on your team? Are you hiring, or any of you hiring right now?
Not in my team, but yeah, Career Site is a great resource. Go check it out. We have a lot of open positions, and see what matches with your skill sets, your interests. Absolutely, go check it out.
So we're hiring, and we focus around Microsoft Teams Voice. So it's a specialized area. We also do a lot of work around data analytics, and we Power BI reporting, and contact centers. We're specialists in contact centers. And so we are hiring with people with those skills, or those who have a passion towards learning more about these technologies, which they're all cloud related anyway.
Excellent. I'm sure some job seekers are out there, so that's definitely helpful for them. So we can close out today if we don't have any additional questions. I don't see anything. It says you can do whatever you set your mind to. I love it. Diversity is a superpower. People are people. Kshetra's asking for any questions. So there is a great quote that I read in the HR magazine, and it's from the former U.S. Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus. And tell me what you feel about this quote. I think it's so powerful. He says that if you have a military force that comes from all the same background, that all looks the same, it becomes predictable. And a predictable force is defeatable. And the same is true for business.
100%.
Very true.
That is so true.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
true.
I thought it was a powerful quote, and I said, "You go, Ray Mavis." So we don't want to be predictable. We don't want to be defeatable. We do want to have strong, diverse workforces, especially in cloud computing. And we hope that you gained insightful information and you took notes about how to prepare for the top 10 in-demand cloud computing jobs from Shilpa and from John. And thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Lauren, for a nice job moderating that panel. That was really interesting and fun. It was good to dig deep in there. And of course, I took notes, so there's no question about that. Thanks for the shout out too. I appreciate that. So thanks you guys for being here.